retention and recruitment. You know, it's unfortunately it's not the biggest thing that a volunteer does in their community anymore. Volunteering is tough to begin with, but when you bring it into the fire service, it was one thing to say that I'm going to help out and step in and do something for my community. Then we start to throw these rules and regulations at them where they have to be trained to a certain level, which is part of the way we do business, and it's literally starting to, well, hold them back and even drive some people away. That's what I'm getting.
I have to agree. I think the retention of firefighters is definitely the forefront issue now in the fire service of Canada. For a varying bunch of reasons. Number one would be that we have a different clientele now. We have a different attitude, I guess, from volunteers, especially from young and old. We have these people now called millennials. The younger sector now typically go through 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs in their career, probably before they're 35 years old, whereas 20 years ago you picked a career and you stayed there and you were pretty stable and secure in your community. That poses a significant challenge for the fire service because, as you know, it takes a long time to train a firefighter. And then in order to retain them, and once we lose the firefighter, you start all over again. And I know I have heard many cases, especially in my province here on the east, that retention is the #1 problem, and I'm experiencing it myself now as well. And I was a fire department that never had a recruitment retention problem until about 5 years ago. Well, I think the role for the national associations and also the provincial associations now, we got to enhance leadership skills, the soft skill of leadership. And I know that's just a generic topic, but it is a very, very important topic because, again, with all the challenges that we spoke to earlier, it's only going to be true leadership skills that is going to bring these problems to some resolution. We have always been using the adage of training with hoses and ladders and the tactics of firefighting, but the soft skills of managing people is going to be a very, very important topic, and that's the role of the national and provincial associations, is to foster that training for the leaders. I
would agree with that. I would take it a step further though and say that yes, leadership is one thing. Give the fire chiefs, give the people the tools that they need for their communities, for their departments, but also make it more broader and public in terms of educating the communities and the local governments in those communities.
Absolutely.
We're dealing with people in our world, our local governments, that change every 3 years and bring up new people that all of a sudden now are running and have their opinions of how you should be running your fire service in your community. It's the bigger voice that we are hitting the federal governments, the provincial governments. Well, how about coming to our local governments? We don't have enough time to sell. We've been selling our jobs, our positions, and our need to the community and our local government for many years. Now, you know something, the associations step up and sing from that same song sheet. That would go a long way for me and for, I think, rest of the volunteer or even career chiefs of volunteer departments. Well, sometimes I think that you know, fighting fire and dealing with personnel issues sometimes becomes a lot easier than dealing with political issues. And we hear about it. We come to these, and it's a venue like the CAFC where the smaller town chiefs and even in their provincial associations get a chance to mingle with those that have the same problems, albeit in bigger departments. And they have political issues. They will more than likely always have a fire department, and every community that has one now will always have one. But the career chiefs in particular that are in volunteer departments, they're fighting a struggle that people don't see. And the struggle continues, and it will always continue and always be in the back of your mind. Fortunately, I think, and Vince is the same way, we've been doing this for quite a few years. We're used to it now. I'm used to it now, and I speak quite candidly to it to say that we are the proof in the pudding. We are doing the job, that we're showing our community how we can accomplish things and get the jobs done. It unfortunately in our business sometimes takes tragedy to show your worth. We don't want to see that. It's happened in many occasions, and the community is thankful for it. Maybe it's time again we start rattling that bush and telling people, you know, here's what we're doing. And the associations, they're very good. The CAFC, very good at the federal level. The provincial associations in British Columbia, the fire chiefs of BC, very good at that one voice. Well, you know, now it's time, I think, that one voice gets a little louder and a little bit more concentrated into the communities.
And I agree. I think rattling that bush has been done for years, and we're learning different ways to do that. But it is, like you say, a gargantuan task to take this on. through CAFC, through the provincial associations, because let's face it, a lot of this politics is at the very local level, they're at provincial levels, and even further down into municipal levels. So the national organizations certainly would have a role to play, but the grassroots, the boots on the ground, if you will, on the political level is definitely going through the provincial associations and the fire chiefs in the respective communities working with their mayors and councils, and that's just going to be a monumental task, but we're up for it. We've been plugging away at it. We plug away at it through our column as well. And one thing Tom and I do find is that the issues on the east are almost the same as the issues on the west, just with a little different flavor and a little different climate sometimes. So that's the way it goes.
Exactly. Exactly.